What is up, guys? So the newest DC Universe TV show, actually kind of more of a CW show at this point, Stargirl, is actually about to end its first season. By the time I upload this video, it would already have come out, but just keep in mind, I have not seen the finale of season 1, so if there's like a cliffhanger or something that confirms that one of these characters is going to appear, I did not know that. I was not able to record this video. I had to record this video way in advance. But anyway, in this video, I'm going to go over every single character who existed in the pre-crisis version of the Arrowverse, or it still exists in the Arrowverse right now on Earth Prime, that I think should appear on Stargirl and should be a character on Earth 2. These are characters who are typically Earth 2 characters, or at least in the pre-crisis version of the comics, they were on Earth 2, which is what the current Earth 2 of the Arrowverse is based off of, which is Stargirl's universe. A lot of characters who I would like to see in the Stargirl universe, either as main characters, supporting characters, villains, or legacy characters like the members of the JSA or the members of the Seven Soldiers of Victory, and I'll go over all of these things, what their role is in the Arrowverse, who they are in the comics, and what their role, I think, should be on Stargirl. Again, keep in mind, I have not seen the season finale of Stargirl Season 1, so if there are things that I mention that are different or wrong, then it could be because of that. I'll leave it in the comments down below, or you could let me know in the comments down below. With that in mind, there's no specific order here, it's just all the characters who I think should appear on Stargirl who existed or exist in the Arrowverse. So let's start with the character who I honestly want to see on Stargirl more than any other character, the character I think would fit the most, and that's Todd Rice, aka Obsidian. In the Arrowverse, he was a member of the Justice Society of America in the 1940s. He continued to be active as Obsidian until the 1980s, where he died of old age. He was also gay, like in the comics, so basically everything about him was comic accurate. His powers, his orientation, and his costume. The only thing they left out, or the only thing they at least didn't mention, is that he is the son of Alan Scott, aka the Green Lantern, which would be a perfect way for him to fit into Stargirl as a legacy character, as most of the members of the current JSA are replacements for the previous JSA. Obsidian, along with potentially his sister Jade, could easily replace their father Alan Scott and be a member of the new JSA. However, another way they could fit in is if Shade ever becomes a villain, which again, I haven't seen the season finale. If there's a cliffhanger for Shade, then let me know in the comments. But it's possible that Obsidian could have a connection to Shade, as their powers are extremely similar. With that in mind, Obsidian is the character from the Arrowverse who I would like to see the most in Stargirl, but there are certainly a lot more. Next up is Michael Holt, aka Mr. Terrific, as well as Terry Sloan, aka Mr. Terrific, both of whom kind of appeared in the Arrowverse, but not really. Michael Holt was changed to Curtis Holt. I don't really understand, I don't know why they changed the name, but they did, and that's not the only thing they changed about the character. They also made him gay, which is not accurate to the comics, and his personality is it's different. He's a little bit more annoying on the show. In terms of Terry Sloan, the original Mr. Terrific, he was mentioned, and he was also served as inspiration for at least the costume of the current Mr. Terrific, as well as Curtis was a huge fan of Terry Sloan, but both of these characters could easily exist on the Stargirl universe. Michael Holt, not Curtis Holt, as potentially a member of the current JSA, as well as, I think honestly, he could have his own spin-off show. He is that interesting in the comics. In terms of Terry Sloan, he should be more of a JSA original character or a Seven Soldiers of Victory character, where he was a legacy character. He never appears, he's only mentioned, maybe shown in a picture, and he serves as inspiration for the current Mr. Terrific. He could also be a member of a different team, a maybe all-star squadron, which is basically every other legacy character I'm going to go over here. Since they weren't members of the JSA, they could be members of a different team, which is the all-star squadron, and that starts here with Mr. Terrific. Then there's Jesse Chambers, aka Jesse Quick, another character who I did mention previously in a different video, a video where I went over who could replace each member of the JSA. The character who I think could replace Jay Garrick is Jesse Quick. In the comics, she's like one of only 3 speedsters on Earth 2. There's Jay Garrick, there's Liberty Bell, and her daughter Jesse Quick, but I think Jesse Quick would work better than Liberty Bell, because the new JSA is more about the younger generation, and Liberty Bell just doesn't feel like she would work there, since she does have a daughter in Jesse Quick. So Jesse Quick, I think, would work perfect on the new JSA as a supporting character and a member of the team. Next up is three different characters that I'm mentioning together because in the comics they are all part of the same family, and that's the Bat family, but more importantly, they're actually a part of the same family. There's Batman, Robin, and Huntress. Batman and Robin technically never really appeared. Batman has appeared in like CGI form. We never really saw his face other than in a picture, but he does exist in the Arrowverse, and he is a character who does definitely exist on this version of Earth 2, or could, much like Green Arrow exists as a member of the Seven Soldiers of Victory. Batman could have easily existed before that. Again, I think he should be a member of the All-Star Squadron. Should never appear, just seen in pictures here or there. Maybe potentially already a dead character. As Robin, I think he could also be a member of the All-Star Squadron, much like Speedy is a member of the Seven Soldiers of Victory. Another character who could potentially just never appear. But then there's Huntress, who isn't typically a member of Bruce Wayne's family, as the one in the Arrowverse is Helena Bertinelli, which she didn't really have any connection to Batman whatsoever. However, in the comics, before the Crisis, as well as Earth 2 in the New 52, Helena was not Helena Bertinelli, she's Helena Wayne, the daughter of Bruce Wayne and Selina Kyle, and I think in the Stargirl universe, she should be that same character, the daughter of Batman and Catwoman, and she should appear much like all the other Justice Society characters appear right now, taking over the legacy. She could even potentially be a former Robin like in the comics, but I would like to see is not her as a member of this JSA, but honestly just setting her up for her own spin-off show, because her, along with one other character I'll go over in a bit, can be a good duo of sorts, and they can honestly have their own show that I would like to see. So next up are two different characters who are connected. That's Clark Kent, aka Superman, as well as Kara Zor-El, aka not Supergirl, Power Girl. Superman could be like Batman, a legacy character and a member of the All-Star Squadron. However, unlike Batman, I think there is a little bit of potential for him to actually appear, since not only is the Earth 2 version of Superman a lot more important than the Earth 2 version of Batman and a very important character overall, but also he just canonically it's a lot easier for him to be still alive and maybe even still active. Supergirl, however, or rather Power Girl, could be a recurring hero. She could even be in a spin-off show, and this is the character who I mentioned earlier could be in a spin-off show with the Huntress, as they are a duo in the comics, especially in the New 52 version of Earth 2, Power Girl and the Huntress. I honestly think they could have an interesting spin-off show set on the same universe, where those two characters team up. Before that, however, both of them could appear as members of the current JSA in a future season of Stargirl. Next up are three different characters, all a part of the same family, all the Steel family, or rather the Haywood family. Henry Haywood, his son Hank Haywood, as well as his son Nate Haywood, all of whom have different names ranging from Commander Steel to Captain Steel to Citizen Steel to just Steel. Now, Henry Haywood, as well as his son Hank Haywood, I think should be legacy characters, either members of the All-Star Squadron or something else. I think Commander Steel should be a member of the All-Star Squadron, while his son, which would be Steel, could either just not be a part of the Steel family. He was never a hero, or he was a member of a different team. Then there's Nate Haywood, who I think could either be Citizen Steel or maybe Captain Steel, depending on what they're going with. It doesn't really matter, but he, I think, could be a supporting character, much like all the other characters in the JSA, a character who takes over the mantle of a different character, and that's him taking over the mantle of his grandfather as, instead of Commander Steel, Citizen/Captain Steel, or maybe even just Steel, but he should be a member of the new JSA. He is currently a member of the Legends on Earth Prime, but I think that they could maybe make him a little bit better on Stargirl. They have a much bigger budget there, they have a much higher production, and he never uses his powers on Legends of Tomorrow, so I'd rather he move over to a show where he can really show his full potential and be, honestly, a better character. Next up is Al Rothstein, aka Atom Smasher, who was heavily misused on The Flash as he was a villain in just one episode. Instead of being a recurring hero, potentially a main hero in something, that was just such a waste of a character. Not only that, but his powers looked terrible, the CGI was god-awful, his costume, everything about him was not good. And I want to see him done well on Stargirl, a show that I think would handle this type of character way better. He has the potential to, again, be a member of the new JSA, since he could be that type of replacement. He would be replacing Al Pratt, aka the Atom, who doesn't actually exist as far as we know. He wasn't a member of the JSA, so that wouldn't be possible. Like, he wouldn't replace the Atom necessarily, but he could be easily a member of this new JSA, and maybe even similar similar kind of to Stripe in terms of his powers and build, or maybe because of their similarities he would be a smaller character or a more recurring character, but still I think he would fit very well on Stargirl, and I would like to see him on the show. Next up is inarguably the most powerful hero from Earth 2, Jim Corrigan, aka the Spectre, who is, honestly, I'm surprised he wasn't a member of the JSA. It's possible that because of the Spectre on Earth Prime being Oliver Queen and his significance, they didn't want to make the Spectre on the JSA be a character who could be killed off like that, like the rest of them. That's possible. There's possibly a reason why, but still, I would love to see Jim Corrigan on Stargirl. I would love to see the Spectre on Stargirl. As much as I thought that Oliver Queen was great as the Spectre, I do want to see a legit Jim Corrigan Spectre, and honestly, he could also have his own spin-off show, but if he doesn't, then just a legacy character as a member of the All-Star Squadron. Next up is Dinah Drake, aka the Black Canary, who should serve as a legacy character and a member of the All-Star Squadron. I don't necessarily know if Dinah Lance should appear as a replacement for the character, but because Dinah Drake, aka the Black Canary, had a huge significance in the pre-crisis version of Earth 2 as a member of the JSA, I think it would be a little bit weird if she never existed on this version of Earth 2. Again, Dinah Lance could potentially never exist. Like, there doesn't need to be a Black Canary replacement on the new JSA, but I do think that a Black Canary should have existed in the past at some point. Next up is Adrian Chase as well as Vigilante, who were two different characters on Earth 1, now Earth Prime, but how in Earth 2 they should be the same person, Adrian Chase as Vigilante. The reason I think Vigilante should appear is because Greg Sanders' version of Vigilante exists on this universe, and he was a member of the Seven Soldiers of Victory, and this version could easily replace him as some sort of recurring hero, but I would honestly like to see a Vigilante spin-off show. I would like to see a whole universe of spin-off shows just all set on Earth 2, much like I already mentioned Mr. Terrific, Power Girl and Huntress, maybe even the Spectre. Another one that I would like to see is Vigilante. He is an interesting character. He has a cool enough costume that I think he could potentially be his own main character. If he isn't, however, he should still appear, maybe not a member of the JSA, but a recurring hero who takes over the legacy, takes over the mantle from Greg Sanders as Vigilante. The last three heroes we're going to mention here are all characters who I don't necessarily think need to appear, and I don't think they should appear, but they should be legacy characters, members of the All-Star Squadron, and characters we see in pictures here or there. Those characters include Red Tornado, Grant Emerson aka Damage, who was mentioned in the Arrowverse previously, as well as Diana Prince aka Wonder Woman, who also was mentioned. All of them I think should, again, not necessarily appear, but we should see them in pictures, and they should have been members of the All-Star Squadron, along with all the other characters I mentioned so far, like Black Canary, the Spectre, Superman, Batman, Commander Steel, Mr. Terrific, and I think that's all the ones I mentioned. So that's it for all the heroes from the Arrowverse who I think should appear on Stargirl or potentially in that universe, but that does also leave some villains. There are a good number of villains that the Arrowverse has used on Earth 1/Earth Prime that would either typically be New Earth or Prime Earth characters, or they were from Earth 2 before the crisis. These characters include, I'll just mention who they are as well as what I think they should be on Stargirl or in that universe. First of all, there's Vandal Savage, who was a recurring villain on Earth 2, as well as a villain to the JSA. I think he could potentially be a main villain in a season of Stargirl or a different show in that universe. There's also Perdegaton, which was another similar character to Vandal Savage, who could also be a potential main villain in some sort of regard. Clifford DeVoe, aka the Thinker, who was a villain of Jay Garrick that they used on The Flash. He could, again, be a potential main villain. I think he could be a villain in a season where they introduce Jesse Quick, and they have this whole thing focused on Jay Garrick. That could be either season 3 or 4 or something, because I want season 2 to focus on Shade, as well as Obsidian, and maybe even Green Lantern. Then there's Peter Merkel, aka Ragdoll, who wouldn't be a main villain, but he could definitely be some sort of side villain, which is also true for Verona Sinclair, aka Roulette, because both of them are villains of the JSA. Finally, there's Becky Sharp, aka Hazard, who, something I didn't know is that she's actually the daughter of the Gambler, who is a member of the current Injustice Society on Stargirl, so she can be a member of the new ISA, along with Icicle Jr., Artemis, the new Fiddler, and maybe other characters that they can bring in, but she is the daughter of the Gambler, so they could definitely use her in that way. So anyway, that's every single Arrowverse character who I think should either appear on Stargirl or maybe a different show in that universe, or they could have their own show on Earth too. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, everything I mentioned. Again, if something changes with the season finale of Stargirl Season 1, then let me know what I got wrong here in this video. But if you like this video, make sure to leave a like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.